Greetings and welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Family, I want to thank you for being patient. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Co-host was not able to get a signal, and that's his text coming in right now. He was going to text us for the opening of the show. So, oh, there you are, G-Way. He's connecting. We have a guest announcement. In New York City, upcoming is a event of being an herbal walk in Prospect Park. So, G-Way, we're going to hang up so that you can connect to your laptop and your phone.
All right.
So, I want to thank everybody being born. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for surviving the airport adolescence of your youth. So, without further ado, let's do our opening starting now. Here we go. Where's the opening theme? Bang!
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am love, yes, power. Yes. I am love, yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Master. Yes. I am. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Yes. I am. Say yes to yourself. Yes. I am protected. Yes. Yes. I am. Master. I am. Yes.
All right. Thank you for that. As I said, co-host couldn't get a signal, so we want to thank Brother Baraka anyway. And we have, before we do the quick opening, I just want to acknowledge our brother G-Way, Baba G-Way. He is my engineer, designer. So when I have a concept, this is the man I go to put it in tactical form for manufacture. So I want to welcome Brother G-Way to the platform of Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Welcome,
Thank
G-Way.
you. Thank you, Brother Hank. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on board with you this evening.
It is. It is an honor to have you. So what you got going on, brother? Tell us what you got going on.
Okay. There are several things I want to first mention that my queen, Sister Tyoma, is in town as of today. She's just arrived from Jamaica, and we will be holding an herb walk this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. in Prospect Park.
This Sunday. What's the date on that? I'm creating a banner right now. Sunday is what? Family, help me out. What's Sunday's
16th.
date?
It's the 16th.
16th?
No, it's the today is the 13th. Yes, it's 16th.
16th of May.
Friday's the 14th. Saturday's the 5th. Yes, the 16th, which is Sunday.
Starting at what time?
10 a.m. We assemble at the entrance to the park, which is located on Flatbush Avenue and Empire Boulevard, directly across the street from the entrance to the Botanical Gardens. We assemble at 10 o'clock, and we usually start walking around 10:30 after some initial introductions, and we do a circle before we start the walk through the park. The walk usually lasts approximately 2, sometimes 3 hours, depending on the size of the group and the enthusiasm of the group.
Yes, the donation
And
is.
the requested contribution is $10 per person. Children are free, and children are welcome.
What age is
There are
children?
many. What ages? Any ages that the parents can handle.
Okay, that
No
sounds
limit.
good.
No limit. No
All right,
limit.
that's
The
good. Special
children
shout
tend
out
to
to
have a really good.
Tyoma.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we got it on the
The
bottom, family.
tend to have a very good time on the walks because it's out in the park. The weather is expected to be fairly good. So we look forward to having a really informative and enjoyable herb walk Sunday. And this is a very good time of year because early in the year, spring and early summer, there's an abundance of delicious edible greens, as well as medicinal blood purifying greens that will be accessible to everyone on the walk. So we recommend that you bring some plastic bags, and we will have a handout that will be helpful for people that want to take notes as we um, gather and discover various herbs that are now growing in full force. So it promises to be a beautiful day.
Ashe. I want
The
to
other,
go ahead, brother.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yes. So in yes, in addition to the herb walk, which is Sunday morning, um, I would like to make an announcement about a youth mobilization town hall meeting that is being sponsored by my committee. I am the chairman of the New York State Coordinating Committee for the Pan-African Federalist Movement.
Mm.
The Pan-African Federalist Movement is a movement that is now started in December of 2018 in Accra, Ghana. And our campaign is based on the vision of Kwame Nkrumah of a unified Africa under the title of the United African States. The United African States, when it is created, and our target is to see that this come to fruition by the year 2030, approximately 10 years. The United African States, by definition, will include not only the member states in the continent of Africa, but also any of the countries in the Caribbean, in Latin America, that are populated predominantly by people of African descent. So such places as Jamaica, Haiti, those countries would also be considered as full member states of the United African States. There will also be, as a full-fledged member of the United African States, a diasporic member state. The diasporic member state would consist of all people of African descent who are living in the diaspora. So that means those of us here in North America, those of us in Canada, and those of us in any other countries in which we we happen to be a minority, but we still will be eligible to have full citizenship in the United African States when it is created. We target to hold the first pre-Congress in Africa by the year of 2023. And at that pre-Congress, we expect to have delegates that will come from North America that will sit at the table when discussions start to forming a constitution for the United African States. So this is our campaign. My committee is the New York State Coordinating Committee, of which I'm the chairperson. Our committee was created just over a year ago, March of 2020. And at that point, I was selected to be the chairperson. We started off as a committee of 7 in 2020. And as of today, our committee is 17 committed people. We are looking to form other committees throughout the state of New York.
What's your contact information?
Anyone that's interested, they can email me or they can call me directly.
All right, hold on. What's your email?
Email me at jiwepad@gmail.com. JIWEP as in Peter, A as in Apple, D as in Delta @gmail.com. They can also call me directly, 347-683-5383.
Okay, hold on. 347.
Anyone who is interested,
Say the number again.
347-683-5383.
Gotcha. Okay,
Anyone
family.
is interested, contact me and then I can send you some documents that will describe in detail what our campaign consists of and how you can become active in the campaign should you so choose. We would look forward to all people of good brothers, sisters, young and old.
All right. Well, thank you, brother.
Our organization will be holding a youth. We will be holding a youth mobilization this coming Sunday in the evening, 5 p.m. to 7. That will be a youth mobilization town hall meeting at which we have 2 very prominent hip hop artists that will be making a presentation to open up the discussion. And then we will be entertaining some really in-depth discussion with the attendees on getting our youth involved in the campaign. That turns out hopes to be a very active town meeting. That's this coming Sunday evening from 5 to 7 p.m. Anyone who is interested, if you will give me your email, I will forward to you the flyer and the link for this. This is Zoom. It's going to be a virtual town hall meeting by Zoom. So if you'll send me your email information, I'll be sure to send you a flyer with the Zoom link attached so you can join town hall meeting Sunday evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Baba Jiwe. We're going to move on. Thank you. Give Sister Tyoma a shout out and family. Hopefully you will join the Herbal Walk Sunday, 16th of May, 10 a.m. at Prospect Park, Flatbush, and Empire Boulevard. I suggest you bring some water and or tea, or you even bring a little blanket so you can relax under those trees so you can commune with the herbs and the bushes to get their messages for upcoming circumstances throughout the
Yes,
city.
sir.
All right. And thank you again,
Yes,
Baba Jiwe.
yes, sir.
I'm leaving again the number.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Um, you're welcome, brother. This is number 347-683-5383. Or you can reach him, email gwaypad@gmail.com. I want to thank you again, brother, for being on the show tonight, making the shout out, and making the announcement.
You got it. All
You
right.
got
Thanks,
it.
brother Hank.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Very
Ashe.
good.
All right, family. Thank you for being patient. I'm going to call Brother Muhammad. I'm sure he's wondering what happened. So bear with me.
Greetings and peace.
Greetings and peace. Hold on, Brother Muhammad. We had a delay. We had an elder give an announcement tonight, and he had to explain he's 80 plus years young, and he was very descriptive on the upcoming events. So I just want to just stand by. I want to just do a quick invocation. I am in me. I am in you, the listening audience. I am in the sea of life. We, in the name of love, ask the presence of the ascended masters to be on this show tonight. I ask the presence. We ask the presence of all our ascended masters. Melchizedek, Yahshua, Black Madonna, Mother Mary, Imhotep, Ptahotep, Seraphis Bey, Saint Germain, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Call upon Simeon Toko, Sheikh Amadou Bamba, Sheikh Ibrafal, Great Divine Director, all the Buddhas, Krishnas, Lakshmi, Elegba, Oshun, Yemaya, Olokun, Oya, Shango, Ogun, Ochosi, Obatala, be with us tonight. And we say together, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Also, Nikolai Tesla, Wilhelm Reich, and Townsend Brown, be with us. And thank you, Professor Bey. The mic is yours. Thank you for being patient for us, brother. Professor Bey, are you there? I think you muted your phone, brother.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. I think you pressed the mute button by accident. Happens to the best of us. Okay. You're live, brother. Hello?
Can you hear me, honey?
Now we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. You got the floor, brother.
Okay. We clear, right?
Family. I can hear him clear. Can you hear him, family? Just say in the chat if you can hear him clear. We can hear you, bro.
Okay, cool. Let's get it on then.
Let's get it on, man.
Thank you once again, sir.
And we can hear you.
Bring me on. We're going to get into the prayers and then we're going to move on.
That's it.
Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Shadu Allah ilaha illallah. Shadu Allah ilaha illallah. I bear witness that there is no deity but Allah. I bear witness that there is no deity but Allah. Shadu Allah Muhammed al Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Come to prayer. Come to prayer. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Come to your good. Come to your good. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. La ilaha illallah. There is no deity but Allah. Hayya ala falah. Come to your good. As-salatu kahiran minan ni'am. As-salatu kahiran minan ni'am. Prayer is better than sleep. Prayer is better than sleep. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon thee and Allah's blessings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon thee and Allah's blessings. Thank you, family. That is the prayer. Now, you know the next thing, I got to give you something from the two books. And we'll be on our way. Okay, family, I'm in Isaiah. I'm still clear, Brother Hank?
You good, brother. Do your thing.
Isaiah 52. 52. Verse 1. Awake, awake. Put on your strength, O Zion. Put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For the uncircumcised and the unclean shall no longer come to you. Shake yourself from the dust. Arise, sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose yourselves from the bonds of your neck, O captives, daughters of Zion. For thus says the Creator, you have sold yourselves for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money. For thus says the Creator, my people went down at first into Egypt. I call it the United States Corporation, to dwell there. Then the Assyrians oppressed them without cause. Now, therefore, what have I here, says the Creator, that my people are taken away for nothing? Those who rule over them, make them well, says the Creator, and my name is blasphemed continuously every day. Therefore, my people shall know my name. Therefore, they shall know in that day that I am he who speaks. Behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace, who brings glad tidings of good things, who proclaims salvation. That was from verses 1 through 7. Verse 13, still in Isaiah 52. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. Just as many were astonished at you, so his visage was marred more than any man, and his form more than the son of men. So shall he sprinkles many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths at him. For what had not been told them, they shall see. And what they had not heard, they shall consider. That is your Bible. I'm going to go to the Quran. I'm in the Quran. Jonah. In the Holy Quran. It's called Jonah. I'm going to read to you verse 80. So when the enchanters came, Moses said to them, cast what you are going to cast. Verse 81. So when they had cast down, Moses said, what you have brought is deception. Surely Allah will make it naught. Surely Allah allows not the work of the mischief makers to thrive. Verse 82. And Allah will establish the truth of his words through the guilty be at first. 83. But on account of the fear of Pharaoh and their chiefs persecuting them, none believed in Moses except a few of his people. And Pharaoh was truly high-handed in the land, and surely he was extravagant. Verse 84. And Moses said, O my people, if you believe in Allah, then rely on him if you submit to him. Verse 85. They said, on Allah we rely, our Creator. Make us not a trial for the unjust people. Verse 86. And deliver us by thy mercy from the disbelieving people. Verse 87. And we revealed to Moses and his brother, take for your people houses to abide in Egypt. I call it the United States. And make your houses places of worship, and keep up prayer, and give good news to the believers.
Ashe.
And Moses said, our Creator, surely thou hast given Pharaoh and his chiefs fineries and riches in this world's life. Our Creator, that they may lead people astray from thy way. Our Creator destroyed their riches and hardened their hearts, so that they believe not till they see the painful chastisement. Verse 89. He said, your prayer is accepted. So continue in the right way and follow not the path of those who know not. Verse 90. And we brought the children of Israel across the sea. Then Pharaoh and his hosts followed them for oppression and tyranny, till when drowning overtook him, he said, I believe that there is no God but he, in whom the children of Israel believe, and I am of those who submit. That is the Quran.
I want to thank you for that, Professor Bey. Now, family, listen close. Professor Bey is going to do a presentation, and the idea came up within 5 minutes. If you have a question for Professor Bey at the end of his presentation, do type it in the commentaries, and we will take 3 questions at the end of the show. Is everybody clear? 3 questions at the end of his presentation. Please continue, Professor Bey.
Thank you, sir. Now, you have a 1 of 4, Hank?
All right, stand by. I gave it a little background so that you can read it, and I'm going to drink some tea.
Thank you, sir.
There it is. Do you see? Y'all can see that clear, right?
Thank you.
Yes. Do your thing, brother.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to get a cup of tea. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Now, family, the topic is, what is the benefit of a corporate slave and Federal Reserve note? There is a law that's called there's a case law called the Clearfield Trust Company versus United States. Because y'all know the United States is a corporation. So another trust is a trust that's suing the United States corporation. 318 U.S. 363, 1943 was a case in which the Supreme Court of the United States held that federal negotiable instruments were governed by federal law and thus the federal court had the authority to fashion a common law rule. Now, you know the United States sits in the District of Columbia. She's a municipal corporation that can sue and be sued. Okay? And what I'm trying to say to you all, this is all the more reason why you all going to have to be into the trust, your express trust. Now, it says something about negotiable instruments. So all of your life and my life, we've been carrying in our pockets instruments, negotiable instruments, when we was going out doing business with all the corporations. And the instrument is the Federal Reserve note that you carry in your pocket every day that you think is money. And you and I must know the use of it. It's a note, just like a promissory note. But no one ever taught us how to use it. The Federal Reserve note is for the public. Because you have to remember that it's the private that buys up the public. So when you go into on the private side of the ledger, now you're learning how to use negotiable instruments. You're private, but still doing business in the public. But as I told you before, you cannot go out, you as the natural flesh and blood, male or female, you cannot do what the other natural person can do. And when I say the other natural person, I'm talking about the foreign express trust. Okay? It can do many things that we cannot do. I want you all to understand that. Now, the Federal Reserve notes are promissory notes called fiat monopoly money. And what you all have to understand, there is only one entity that can use the private side of the note to discharge all debts from the capital account. Man, listen, I'm going to tell you all something. I talked to somebody today. I'm not calling no name. But I'm going to tell you all something. Y'all better get into the trust and stick with me. Because I'm going to show you all how to use that promissory note. But you're going to have to have some requirements. See? I'm just saying. I say no more. I read y'all those quotes from the Bible. There's a reason why I read it to you. The race is not to the swift, but the one who can endure it to the end. And I told you all, for me, it's from the cradle to the grave. Because I'm always studying to show myself approved. And this is what you all will have to do. I'm not going to make it easy for you. Now, see, your straw man cannot own anything while in the public arena. This is why you have to put that straw man into the trust and lean him up. Because everything runs through that birth certificate. Everything. And that social security number. Okay? Those are part of your coffer accounts. But you all, we haven't figured it out yet. But I can tell you one thing. I have. But I say no more on that. And I know some people probably saying, well, you know, that Bey over there, Muhammed Bey, whatever he want to call himself, he sounds like a crazy man. Yeah, but I can tell you one thing. You can say whatever you want to say. But I'm going to keep on piping with this. And if I cause you any confusion, then that's a good thing. Because, see, a lot of people out there are giving y'all information, but they don't have application.
Uh-oh.
No application, but a whole lot of information. That's what makes me a little different. See, I know how to talk it, and I know how to apply it. And some of you already know what I'm talking about because I came to your state. And I took you to your county. And I proved something to you. And that's where you're going to wind up again if you continue to follow me. You're going to go back to that county. There is something else you're going to do the next time you go there. And I'm not going to say what it is now. You can take it or leave it. Okay? Now, this is why the Federal Reserve foreign bankers had to foment the Civil War. Y'all have to understand the Civil War was all about them Albions fighting the Aborigine people, which were us, stealing our land, taking our properties. That's what that Civil War was all about. It wasn't that BS that they taught us in school. Nothing to do with that. They made several failed attempts before finally getting through under Franklin D. Roosevelt. Now, under Roosevelt is what snatched your real substance. Carl had you to bring that in so they can give you the fiat monopoly money. Because they had already done put you up under the corporation through the birth certificate. What your mother signed, she was the informant. Okay? Just keep it real. And so she gave you over to the state, which is a corporation under the big corporation called the United States. Right? They had to do all of this is because you and I were in our private family trust. See, we had our family trust as Moors, Aborigines, to the land. This is why we didn't need no warranty deeds, quiet titles, and all of those things, quick claim deed. We didn't need none of that because we were owners of the land. When we allowed the Albions to trick us out of our trust, this is where we are today trying to get back. This is where we are right now. We're trying to get back to the trust. In response to the demand for reform, Wilson, that's the other president, pushed for the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. We know all kind of stuff went on in 1913. It took them 20 years to do what they had to do from 1913 to 33. That's 20 years.
Oh, I got to say this, Professor. And all the bankers was not in agreement with this privatization of the government, and they were seduced, encouraged, and told to take the Titanic across the Atlantic. And guess what happened to them?
They sunk it.
Exactly.
Yep, there was a reason why. That's what J.P. Morgan told them to do. Put them on there and take it down. Now, the banksters, that is, which established 12 regional reserve banks controlled by the Federal Reserve Boards, a new federal agency whose members were appointed by the president. Y'all keep that word in mind, appointed by the president, because it's going to lead into that webinar I'm going to do on that Saturday, May 29th. This new federal system could adjust interest rates and the nation's money supply. They're talking about the Federal Reserve notes, because it was authorized to issue currencies. Now listen to it, issue currency based on government securities and commercial paper. See, when we first came out of our mother womb, we didn't get a chance to put our feet on the soil. They took that baby and wiped it down, cleaned it up, and rolled that ink under the feet, and put that baby feet on the commercial paper. Now they put you up under the corporation called the United States. The amount of money in circulation would expand or contract with the business cycle. Additionally, the Federal Reserve was empowered to adjust the interest rates or the discount rate charged to its member banks for money deposit in the branch reserve banks, which would indirectly control the interest rate that banks charge their borrowers. You all think they're talking about? They're talking about you. In other words, they are passing off their obligations to you, being the public straw man, using the Federal Reserve notes. That's credit paper. They are saying that they're the creditors because you're using their instruments. And this is why they tax you on it. Trying to explain to y'all about that tax. You can look that up in Title 18, USC 8. It tells you whose obligation it is. Don't take my word for it. Let me just pull it up. Some of y'all ain't convinced. Title 18, USC 8. All right. And this is what it says. 18 USC Code Section 8. Obligation or other security of the United States. See, the United States, you know that's the corporation. The term obligation or other securities of the United States includes all bonds. That's the birth certificate. Certificate of indebtedness, national bank currency, Federal Reserve notes. See that? Federal Reserve notes, Federal Reserve bank notes, coupons, United States notes, Treasury notes, gold certificates, silver certificates, fractional notes, certificate of deposits, bills, checks, or drafts for money drawn by or upon authorized officers of the United States, stamps and other representative of value of whatever denomination issued under any act of Congress. You can't say I'm making it up. See, when they say her obligations or other securities of the United States, see, this is why you have to be on the private side so you can use the public money to do whatever business you need to do. Because remember, your trust is the highest, truest creditor in Congress. Your express trust. Okay? Now, the New Deal. See, anything before 33, you all own everything outright. Load your titles to your property. You owe no one nothing. And this is what that Civil War was all about. Okay? The New Deal was a series of programs, public work projects, financial reforms, and regulations enacted by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in the United States between 1933 and 1939. Major federal programs and agencies were set up. See, agencies, DMV, Social Security Administration, IRS, all of these agencies. You see? It's just to name a few. Were set up. The New Deal was also about the stealing of natural resources such as gold and silver in exchange for the fiat monopoly paper called birth certificate, social security card, marriage license, driver's license, death certificate. These are all contracts. Okay?
Hold on a second, brother. Let me get this thing out of here. All right. Sorry for the interruption, family. Please continue, Professor.
Thank you. Banking reform. At the beginning of the Great Depression, the economy was destabilized by bank failures, followed by credit crunches. The initial reasons were substantial loss in investment banking, followed by bank runs. Bank runs occurred when a large number of customers withdrew their deposits. because they believed the bank might become insolvent. Well, she's been insolvent since 1898. They just told you 1933. As the bank run progressed, it generated a self-fulfilling prophecy. As more people withdrew their deposits, the likelihood of default increased, and this encouraged further withdrawal. On March 9, 1933, Roosevelt sent to the Congress the Emergency Banking Act. And just to let you all know, you all are still up under that Emergency Banking Act. In March and April, in a series of laws and executive order, see that executive order, the government suspended the gold standard. This is what Roosevelt did. Roosevelt stopped the overflow of gold by forbidding the export of gold except on the license from the Treasury. Anyone holding significant amounts of gold coins was mandated to exchange it for the existing fixed price of U.S. dollar. Now that's bullshit you there. That's fiat. So it's not equal to the gold. But they needed the gold to back it. The Treasury no longer paid out gold for dollars, and gold would no longer be considered valid legal tender for debts in private and public contracts. See right there, they stealing now. The dollar was allowed to float freely on foreign exchange markets with no guaranteed price in gold. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has, and go to 204, please.
Hold on. Going now. Hold on. Number 2. Scrolling to it. Number 2. Posted.
Thank you, sir. Has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act, March 9, 1933, declared by President Franklin Roosevelt, being bankrupt and insolvent. See, they told you right here. House Joint Resolution 192, 73rd Congress, session June 5th, 1933. This joint resolution to suspend the gold standards and abrogate the gold clause dissolved the sovereign authority of the United States and the official capacity of all United States governmental offices, officers, and departments, and it only exists in name. So, as I told you, all these public officials, they fall up under the corporation because they had to give up their citizenship to become a U.S. citizen. Now, when they was talking about early that the dollar was allowed to float freely on foreign exchange market, this when they was trying to say have their dollar to usurp of every other country's dollar and make their dollar more, I would say, important than another country's currency. How is that? When you're a bankrupt corporation. So this is why they've never wanted any competition. See? So what they did, very schemefully and cleverly, and like we said earlier, when they had all of those ones who was not in agreement with their ideal, they put them on the Lusitanic. They put them on that ship. What's the name of it, Hank?
The Titanic.
The Titanic. And took them out there and sunk it.
Yep.
That was to get rid of them because they couldn't have them around talking. They were not in agreement with this.
They stomped out. They snuffed the opposition.
Exactly. Now, the receiver of the United States bankruptcy are the international bankers, see, via the United Nations, the World Bank, and the IMF, International Monetary Fund. All United States office officials and departments are now operating within a de facto status in name only under the emergency war powers. The constitutional republic form of government is now dissolved. The receivers of the bankruptcy has adopted a new form of government for the United States is known as democracy. That's what y'all say y'all want, some democracy. And y'all sure getting that democracy too. In Latin, it's called democratias. Y'all need to look that up. That's some wicked stuff. But y'all getting what y'all asked for. That's why everything goes under democracy. You know, men can marry men and women can marry women and all that stuff. Y'all, anything goes.
Does that, you know, democracy almost sound like demon crazy.
That's what it is. Democracy. They need to look it up. It'll tell them.
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
Democracy, though.
Demon crazy. Democracy. Damn. Go ahead,
so
bro.
Let's be clear. You are trading coupons or promissory notes as money or currency. All currency is not money, but a money substitute. Redeemable currency must promise to pay $1 equivalent in gold or silver money. Federal Reserve notes is a debt obligation of the federal United States government, not money. Now, do you understand why you are bankrupt along with the rest of the country? Federal Reserve notes are, now listen to this now. Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. Federal Reserve notes are inflatable paper system designed to create debt through inflation, devaluation of currency. Whenever there is an increase of the supply of a money substitute in the economy, without a corresponding increase in the gold and silver backing, inflation occurs. Inflation is an invisible form of taxation that irresponsible governments inflict on their citizens, but this is intentionally done. This is what they want. Inflation, boom, bust, because this is how they control a nation's natural resource. They know what they have ain't real, but this is how they control the market. Inflation is an inflatable form of taxation that irresponsible governments inflict on their citizens. And you're getting inflicted with it. And what do I mean? You are paying you are paying the tax. They call it income tax, but it's not income tax. They're taxing you on your labor, your wages. The Federal Reserve Bank, who controls the supply and movement of Federal Reserve notes, has everybody fooled. They have access to an unlimited supply of Federal Reserve notes, paying only for the printing costs of what they need. Federal Reserve notes are nothing more than promissory notes for the U.S. Treasury securities. T-bill, they call it. A promise to pay the debt to the Federal Reserve. This is what happens to you at signing day when you were finalizing the promissory note that says you promised to pay the U.S. debt. We have become constitutors for another's debt. I just told you Title 18 U.S.C. 8. You are the constitutor, the straw man. There is a fundamental difference between paying and discharging a debt. To pay a debt, you must pay with value or substance, i.e., gold, silver, barter, or a commodity. With Federal Reserve notes, you can only discharge a debt. You cannot pay a debt with a debt currency system. You cannot service a debt with a currency that has no backing in value of substance. No contract in common law is valid unless it involves an exchange of goods and valuable consideration. This is why I told you you never get consideration with them. They didn't give you no consideration in equity when they slid you the promissory note and you filled it out. gave them all of your important information, and you didn't know when you gave it back to them, you gave them the money. This is how they trick you. You actually paid off the house. But they are such thieves and cutthroats and liars. And then with your promise to pay it, this is why it's never is notarized by a notary, because you just gave them a negotiable instrument so they can go and induce other investors. And they're going to take it all around the world and make all kind of money off it and leave you holding the bag with a mortgage, a so-called mortgage that you believe that you have to pay. And they laughing at you like laughing stock. You did not receive any consideration in equity from the so-called lender when you sign over the promissory note without it being notarized to the lender. You have given the lender an open negotiable instrument without any restrictions. The Federal Reserve System is based off the canon law. And go to, not yet. And the canon law principles of sovereignty protected in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. In fact, the international banksters use a canon law trust. See right there? This is what the banks do use. I told you all, everybody is in trust except you and I. As their motto, adding stock and naming it a joint stock. This means that the Federal Reserve banking system controls the stock market and the Congress is the trustees. The Federal Reserve System is a sovereign power structure separated and distinct from the federal United States government. In other words, the federal United States, I don't call it a government, it's a corporation. They're the ones who are borrowing that money from the Federal Reserve System. Federal Reserve is a maritime lender. See, a maritime lender and / or maritime insurance underwriter to the federal United States operating exclusively under, go to 3 or 4, hey?
Posted.
You say posted?
Yep, it's up.
Under Admiralty Maritime Law. Now, what they're telling you all, since they got you as franchise employees under the corporation called the United States, so the United States is doing business with the Federal Reserve banking system. So when they borrow those notes, then they put the obligations up on you. And you all got to understand these securities that they gave you all called the birth certificate and the Social Security card. Those are securities you're trying to use on the public side while in the public. You can only use those while on the private side doing business in the public. This is why I said to you, you got to remove yourself, because the other natural person, only the other natural person can do this. And that is the Foreign Express Trust is taking your place. And its employees are the DBAs, the LLC, the corporation, however you're setting it up. You all better listen to me. I'm sure not crazy over here. I know what I'm talking about. The lender bears the risk as underwriters, and the maritime law compelling specific performance in paying the interest. Premiums are the same. Assets of the debtor can also be apothecated. Did y'all hear that? The asset of the straw man can also be apothecated. Apothecated means when you pledge something as a security without taking possession of it. See, they pledged it without taking possession of it, which meaning that they are only acting as the owners of it, but they never could take possession of it. This is where you got to come back and know how to do your commerce from the private side of the ledger and do business in the public. But you must be up under the express trust to do that. This is what they're talking about here. Now you can learn how to be a financial institution and learn how to underwrite. That's what you're doing when you're doing your express trust. When you're putting everything into the minutes, you're expressing it. You're doing underwriting, whether you knew that or not. This is the same way you are going to learn how to do banking as a lender and underwriter from the private sector by using your express trust to write and issue promissory note as a lender to the borrower in the public sector, which is your straw man, which is your straw man, because you got a lien on him now. So he's working for you and not the corporation now called the United States. I hope y'all heard that. And if it's confusing to you, just keep getting it, get it from the show, and just keep looking over and reading it to you until it comes to your mind. Your express trust is a financial institution that can write and lend out promissory notes to a debtor. I hope y'all picked up on that. The promissory note is being pledged as a security to the debtor called the straw man. Exactly the same thing that they're doing. They pledge something as a security without taking possession of it. But what you're doing, you're taking possession of it, because this is why you put it in on a non-UCC lien and lean it up for a certain amount of money. The Federal Reserve Act stipulated that the interest on the debt was to be paid in gold. There was no stipulation in the Federal Reserve Act for ever paying the principal, or they probably left that out intentionally. Prior to 1913, most Americans owned clear a loading title to property, free and clear of any lien and mortgages, until the Federal Reserve Act 1913 apothecated all property within the federal United States to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. Now, in which the trustees, stockholders, held legal titles. So understand what I just said right here. You, as Aborigine Moors, you own clear allodial titles to your property, free and clear of any liens and mortgages, until the Federal Reserve Act apothecated all properties within the federal United States. So you see now, when you were born, they created that bond called that birth certificate, and your mother signed off, and she gave you to the state. It's called a ward of the state. That's what puts you in the federal zone under the federal United States corporation. Okay? Now, we're doing in reverse. So you're removing yourself out of the way, and now you're putting everybody into the trust now, so you can have the protection. And also your straw man, but you still gonna let him operate in the public for you. I hope you all listening to me. You're doing the reverse. Same thing they're doing. But this time your trust gonna take ownership. And it's gonna have the straw man working for it now. The United States citizen, tenant, franchisees was registered as a beneficiary, of their trust via his or her birth certificate. See, that's what I just told you. So if most of you all, if you was reading that warranty deed, when I first did the show on the warranty deed, I said, go get your contract and look at it. They got y'all listed as a tenant. This is why y'all can never own anything. Not under the straw man, you can't. Because the straw man is going to give it over to the new entity, which is the Foreign Express Trust, so it can do the work now. It can own it. And this is why I keep trying to tell you all, don't worry about no bank sending you no letter. You're not going to lose your house. And if I was a betting man, I'll win all y'all money. Because I know what I did. How I set your trust up and where I put your situs. Your situs is in international jurisdiction. This is why they can never get your property. Take it or leave it alone. is one of the reasons why you must authenticate the birth certificate and put a non-UCC lien for the trust to own it. You and I got naturalized through the birth certificate process, which is corruption of blood according to the Constitution. This also made you and me a constitutor, which means they take that person and put it into place and make that person pay their obligation. That's what a constitutor is. For the federal United States debt under Title 18 U.S.C. 8, I just read it to you earlier. In 1933, the federal United States hypothecated all the present and future properties, assets, and labor of their subjects. We're talking about U.S. 14th Amendment U.S. system to the Federal Reserve System. This is why they got you using that money, because they say we hypothecated you over, even though you're a citizen under our corporation, but we hypothecated you over to the Federal Reserve System. So this gave the United States some leverage now as collateral. They made you and I collateral for their debt. So this is why they transferred us over to that Federal Reserve System. So every time you're using that Federal Reserve note, they taxing you on everything. If you're going to buy a house, if you're going to buy some clothes, you're going to buy a car, everything is a tax. This allegedly why we are paying taxes on our labor. In return, the Federal Reserve System agrees to extend the federal United States corporations all the credit money substitute. See right there? Since they made it to the collateral, so they can keep going to the Federal Reserve and say, hey, we need some more. We need some more of that paper. We need some more of that paper. In need. So remember, when you was doing that promissory note, you told them that you agreed to promise to pay. So this is what they bank on. This is what the Federal United States Corporation bank on. Like any other debt, the Federal United States government, a corporation, had to assign collateral, and security to their creditors as a condition of the loan. So this is how they get loans off you and me, of our ignorance. See? Since the Federal United States didn't have any assets, talking about the corporation again, they assigned the private properties of their economic slaves, the United States citizens, as collateral against the unpayable federal debt. They also pledged the unincorporated federal territories, national parks, forests, birth certificates, and nonprofit organizations as collateral against the federal debt. All has already been transferred as payment to the international banksters. All corporations fall under the 14th Amendment, along with the corporate states. This is why the counties created birth certificates in order to make you a corporation and constitutor for the federal United States debt as constitutor. So your entity called a straw man function as a corporation by the use of a social security number and birth certificate, which is corruption of blood according to the Constitution. You and I are citizens of the District of, Hank, go to 4-4, please. Not yet, Hank, not yet. You and I are citizens of the District of Columbia, 1871 Organic Act, February 2nd, 1871, doing business as the Federal United States Corporation employees. This is a corporation doing business for profit. That's what it says in their Constitution. Y'all can go and pull it up and read it. They are a municipal corporation doing business. You as a natural person functions in commerce as a corporation by the use of a social security number. The Federal United States Corporation claims possession through eminent domain, and it is liable for all expense under the state of emergency. Eminent domain refers to the power of the government to take private property and convert it into public use. This is another reason why y'all got to be in the trust and put your property in trust. This is where they got desperate. The Fifth Amendment provides that the government may only exercise this power if they provide just compensation to the property owner. And you never get just compensation. You never get true consideration and equity. They always slip and slide like a snake. They know when you gave them back that promissory note, you had already gave them consideration and equity, and that house was already paid for. Go to 404, my brother Hank.
It's up.
Now, you are working for the rights of now listen to this now, carefully. You are working for the right to borrow your wages from the federal United States corporation. That's what you all are doing when you're working. You're borrowing your wages from that federal United States corporation. The federal United States corporation is the agency that borrows fiat monopoly paper from the Federal Reserve banking system. But remember, in order for them to get that fiat monopoly paper, they had to put up some collateral, which that was you and me and all the property and everything else. You have to pay the United States corporation for the use of the Federal Reserve notes when you work a job to earn your wage, and the company takes it out in taxes and the IRS collects. The IRS is an agency tax collector for the Federal Reserve banking system. The only thing you and me have been given is another's liability and obligation, going back to Title 18 U.S.C. 8. The Federal Reserve note is a bill you have to pay back because it is a plain coupon. So, show me how I made a profit or income off my labor. Show me. You are being taxed on your labor for the use of Federal Reserve notes, which the Federal Reserve banking system get to print more of it for your use of it, which is all debt equity financing, redistribution of debt. That's all it is. You and I was never a U.S. citizen, but only a 14th Amendment disenfranchised federal U.S. employee to a municipal corporation called the District of Columbia, doing business as a federal United States corporation.
Damn.
Now, listen, family. I had somebody call me and told me that this person's still on YouTube talking about me. Why people think that they don't have to pay tax? Why do people say that they want to expatriate from the United States? And why do Moors want to think they can get free land and all of that, right? But see, one thing I don't do, I don't get into the back and forth talk, because you know why? I'm at the end of the door.
Maybe he's a paid agent.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But what I don't do, see, just the mere fact you're talking about me, that means there's something about me that's important to you. See, maybe you don't understand how I'm breaking this down, but you ain't gonna come forth and say that, though. I don't expect you to. It's okay.
Still sounds like an agent to me. That sounds like a paid agent.
See, when I read this stuff to you all, that's why I go back and I break it down and explain to you all what it means, what it's saying to your mind. I'm not trying to do no business trust. All business trusts fall under the legislature. They're up under the statutes. They're not up under the common law. That's why I'm not having you all to do no business trust. Business trust is just like an LLC. That's all it is. Register with the state, and the state get a chance to make you a director or a president over it, and they take ownership of it. Because most of y'all don't know what to do when y'all get an LLC. Y'all don't know how to protect it. I keep telling you, you got people out there that have information, but they don't have application like your brother Bay does. Trust me on that.
That's
I
excellent.
know how to talk it, walk it, and get you on the other side of it. That's what you all need. Y'all don't need nobody bullshitting you, talking about mixing public and private.
Wow.
People showing me their SS4s, and I see they got their straw man name as a trustee and the responsible party. Man, that's mixing public and private. How? If you're using that social, you are still a U.S. person or citizen. And if you're putting that straw man name on anything, it's not private.
Wow. So that means I'm the first one to ask you a question, Professor Bay.
Go ahead, sir.
So the religious Moors from the Moorish Science Temple, are they still using Social Security cards?
Well, they say you go down to Social Security and give them the new spiritual name, and they call it part and parcel.
Damn, that's a bad move. From the basics, I understand.
Well, I had that conversation with some Moors when I went to New York, and I had to show them my check stub. And I said, no, my brother, that's not the teaching of the prophet. You say it's like getting a new spiritual name and then going and putting yourself back in slavery again. How?
That's cray all day.
But you know why they do that? Because they don't know how to really function in Congress. They don't know the application of it. I already know. That's why you went back down there and gave him the new name, and the only thing the IRS and Social Security Administration gonna do is attach that number back to it, and you're a slave all over again, paying taxes and all of that.
Wow. Okay, y'all. Anybody else got a question? Because otherwise, we're going to wrap this show up. This was excellent presentation, Professor. Huh?
They got to have some questions. Anybody putting that in the chat?
Yeah, somebody said, why would you take your spiritual self and put it right back in the public? That makes no sense.
Of course it doesn't make no sense. It's like a dog going back to his vomit.
Right.
Of course it doesn't make any. This is what I keep trying to tell y'all. They're giving you all public stuff. These trusts that they're talking about, public trust. Let me do this one more time. I just want to prove the point. Let me just do this right there. See, y'all know it ain't y'all say baby. Okay?
What you cooking up over there, Professor?
Oh, you know I'm always cooking up stuff. You know
It sounds like you got a pot with a typewriter in it.
I gotta cook it up. See, they don't believe that the water is muddy. Now, let me say why I know your express trust is the real deal. Hold it here. You know, I like to talk to my sometimes. Now, Rule 17, plaintiff and defendant, capacity, public office.
You're not clear. Hold on, Professor. Your sound is a little distorted.
Okay, what about now?
That's good. Thank
you, sir. Rule 17, plaintiff and defendant, capacity, public office. A, real party in interest. Designation in general. An action must be prosecuted in the name of the real party in interest. The following may sue in their own name without joining the persons for whose benefit the action is brought. A, an executor. B, an administrator. C, a guardian. D, a bailiff. And listen to E, a trustee of an express trust. I don't need to go no further. Why they ain't saying any other trust? Why they ain't saying business trust, construction trust, tax trust? Why isn't it saying any of them other trusts? This is the only trust that has written law. I can't make this up. Don't get mad with your brother because ain't no other trust listed on here. It doesn't say a trustee of a business trust, trustee of a tax trust, trustee of a constructive trust. It don't say that. It says a trustee of an express trust. And guess what? And the real party of interest is your express trust. Coming to sue, coming to make its claim. This is why I told y'all got to authenticate them birth certificates because y'all going to sue somebody. And it's going to come in the real part of it. They're going to come in their own name, which is whatever you name that trust. Alfred Muhammad Bey Express Trust.
Okay.
See, I'll break it down for you. Because I know what I'm talking about. I'm doing it, not just talking it.
Okay.
Go ahead, my brother.
There's a question from C. Lambo. Besides the continuance of studying, what should one do while waiting for the authentication of the birth certificate from the national level? I'll answer that one. You, C. Lambo, asked a good question. This is when you invoke your I am, doing your I am affirmations, invocations with a crystal or orgone. This is when you're going to shift your holographic reality with your I am invocations to align with the divine laws. And Professor, you got anything to add to that?
Oh, you know I do. And tell them to keep on listening to them shows and rock off them 31, 32 shows now.
Yep.
Tell him to keep his pen and pencil out and keep on rocking and listening to the shows.
Thank you. All right. Next question and last question, because there's only 3 a night. What happens if you don't live in the state you was born in when it comes to doing your paperwork? Does it matter?
What if they don't, in other words, they talking about the county where they were born.
Right.
Well, you're going to file everything now in where you live. It's not the county now where you were born, but you're going to get your birth certificate from that county where you were born to have it authenticated. But anything else, doing your trust and all of that, no, it's where you live. I had to experience that. So that's how I know.
Thank you, Professor Bey. Any other questions, family? After you like and subscribe, Mr. Bey 33169 at gmail.com, or you can call him for a consultation. 786-624-8257. Yes.
Don't forget, let me say again, and don't forget, family, about the webinar.
Oh, we're gonna do an infomercial for that, brother.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, family, he's gonna be doing a webinar, and we're gonna package that up to you within days from now. Okay. Now, those of you who got Cash App, $sign Moores 33054, Alfred Thompson. And on that note, I want to thank you again, Professor Bey, for an excellent presentation.
Well, thank you too again, sir, for inviting me.
Right
Appreciate
on.
it.
And all the audience, thank you for being present. Thank you for all. And bid you good night and a beautiful weekend.
Say often, yes, I am. Supreme shield of protection surrounding me. Yes, I am. Yes, I am remembering all I was born to do. Yes, I am. Take hold of your crystal, which will magnify your I am affirmations at least 600%. If you don't have a pistol, you better have a crystal. Bring forth. Yes, I am. Remember, you are divine.